November 3rd, 2010. 4:47 a.m. Otay Mesa, San Diego. DEA agent Marcus Holloway is staring at infrared satellite images when he sees something that shouldn't exist. A heat signature, underground moving. Pull up grid section D7. Zoom in. The tech officer complies. They're beneath a warehouse in Otay Mesa. Something is generating heat. Lots of it. Ventilation systems, lighting, power generators, all of it 40 feet underground. Holloway has been tracking the Arellano Felix cartel for 3 years. He knows their signature. And this is big. How long has this been active? Based on energy consumption, 6 months, possibly more. 6 months. A fully operational tunnel right under the border, and they're only finding it now. Holloway picks up the phone. Wake up the task force. We're going in tomorrow night. What Holloway doesn't know, he just started a countdown, and on the other end of that tunnel, someone is listening. Before we go deeper into this story, take a second to hit that like button and subscribe. It helps this channel grow and lets us keep uncovering stories like this, the ones buried deep beneath the surface. Oh, I have to get back to work. The tunnel. Let me show you what $2 million in construction costs buys you in the underground drug trade. The tunnel runs 2,100 feet over 600 m from a warehouse in Tijuana to a warehouse in Otay Mesa, San Diego. That's 7 football fields underground. But this isn't some crude hole in the ground. This is engineering. Steel reinforced walls, concrete flooring, rail tracks for moving product, ventilation shafts every 100 m, lead lighting, hydraulic lifts at both ends, even a drainage system for the rainy season. The tunnel cost the Arellano Felix cartel approximately $2 million to build. It took 8 months. The engineers who built it are specialists. Former mining engineers, construction workers, electricians, men who know how to work underground without leaving traces on the surface. These engineers are paid well, $50,000 each, enough to change their lives, enough to keep them loyal, or so the cartel thinks. But there's a problem with paying engineers that much money. It teaches them the value of what they're protecting. And right now, sitting in that tunnel, protected by those steel reinforced walls under those lead lights, is something worth far more than $50,000. Approximately $22 million in cash. Drug profits from 6 months of methamphetamine sales stacked in sports duffel bags, waiting to be moved to Tijuana, waiting to be counted, waiting to be distributed. The cartel has a system. Every 2 weeks they move the cash through the tunnel. Count it, clean it, distribute it. The system works perfectly until November 3rd, 2010, when someone makes a phone call that changes everything. The leak. Tijuana, November 3rd, 6:15 a.m. A phone rings in a small apartment. The man who answers it has worked as a tunnel engineer for 8 months. Let's call him Diego. Diego doesn't know the caller encrypted number, voice distorted, but the message is clear. DEA found the tunnel. They're raiding it tomorrow night, November 4th, around 1:00 p.m. The line goes dead. Diego sits in his kitchen, coffee getting cold, hands shaking. He has 2 choices. Tell the cartel, warn them, save the tunnel, keep his job and his life, say nothing, let the raid happen, lose everything. But there's a third option, one that Diego and 2 other engineers have been discussing for months. An option they've been too scared to consider until now. What if they don't warn anyone? What if they let the cartel think everything is fine? What if in the 36 hours before the raid, they move the money themselves? Diego makes 3 phone calls, each one to another engineer. Each conversation lasts less than 30 seconds. Tomorrow night before the raid, we will take it all. Here's what makes this plan insane. They have to move $22 million in cash through a tunnel that's about to be raided. They have to do it without the cartel noticing. They have to do it during a narrow window when the tunnel is least monitored, and they have to trust each other completely because if anyone talks, they all die. The countdown. November 3rd, 2010, 2 p.m. DEA. San Diego field office is briefing the task force, 30 agents, FBI, DEA, Border Patrol. Everyone wants a piece of this. We will enter tomorrow night, November 4th, at exactly 10 p.m. We will strike both sides simultaneously. Tijuana, and San Diego. Full tactical teams. We want everyone inside that tunnel arrested. Someone asks, what about the money? Intelligence suggests they're storing cash there. Could be significant. Millions. Maybe more. The room buzzes. This isn't just a tunnel bust. This is a financial knockout. Take the tunnel, take the cash, and the Arellano Felix cartel loses their primary smuggling route and their operating capital. It's the kind of operation that makes careers. Holloway assigns teams, coordinates with Mexican authorities, plans the raid down to the minute. We need this airtight. No leaks. If they know we're coming, they'll empty that tunnel and disappear. What Holloway doesn't know, the leak already happened. And right now, 3 engineers are planning the biggest theft of their lives. The plan. November 4th, 2010, 10 a.m. Tijuana. Diego meets the other 2 engineers in a parking lot. Let's call them Hector and Luis. They've worked together for 8 months. They trust each other sort of as much as criminals can trust anyone. The raid is tonight, 10 p.m., which means we have from 8 p.m. until roughly 9:30, 9:45 p.m. to move the money. How much time does that give us? About an hour and a half, maybe a little more if everything goes perfect. The cartel rotates surface checks earlier in the evening. After 8 p.m., they usually assume the tunnel is quiet until midnight. That's our window, but we must be gone before the DEA hits at 10 p.m. An hour and a half to move $22 million. 22 million weighs about 480 pounds. Split across 12 duffel bags. We can move 2 bags per trip. 6 trips. We can do it if we keep it tight and don't screw up. Luis looks nervous, and if the cartel finds out, Diego doesn't answer. They all know what happens if the cartel finds out. The plan is simple. At 8 p.m., Diego enters the tunnel through the Tijuana side. His normal job is to check the ventilation systems. At 8:15 p.m., Hector enters through the San Diego side. His normal job is to maintain the rail system. They meet in the middle, load the duffel bags onto the rail carts, move the bags to the San Diego exit. Luis waits for the truck, loads the bags, drives to a storage unit they've rented under false names. By 9:45 p.m., the tunnel is empty, the money is gone, and the cartel has no idea. Roughly 30 minutes before the DEA raids the tunnel, these 3 engineers are going to rob their employers of $22 million. What could possibly go wrong? They Heist. November 4th, 2010. 8 p.m. Tijuana. Diego descends into the tunnel. Clipboard in hand, flashlight, radio, everything normal. The entrance is inside a warehouse that the cartel owns. 2 guards at the surface, but they don't follow him down. Nobody likes going into the tunnels. Claustrophobic, dark, easy to get lost. Diego reaches the bottom, 40 feet underground. The air is cool. The ventilation hums. Lead lights stretch into the distance. He walks 300 m. Then he sees them. 12 duffel bags stacked against the wall. Zippers closed. Heavy. Diego unzips one. Stacks of cash. 20s, 50s, hundreds. More money than he's ever seen in his life. His radio crackles. I am in. It's Hector. Coming from the San Diego side. Copy. Meet at marker 7. They work quickly. 2 bags onto the rail cart. Push it 300 m towards San Diego. Unload. Go back for more. The tunnel is silent, except for their breathing and the scrape of the cartwheels on the rails. First trip. 2 bags. 8:23 p.m. Second trip. 2 bags. 8:37 p.m. Third trip. 2 bags. 8:51 p.m. They're ahead of schedule. Everything is working. Then Diego's radio crackles again, but it's not Hector. Diego, you down there? It's one of the cartel's surface guards. Diego freezes. Yeah, checking the ventilation in Sector 4. Boss wants a status update. Everything good? Everything's fine. Should be done in 20 minutes. Copy. Diego's heart is pounding. They know he's in the tunnel. If they come down to check, he keys the radio. We need to move faster. 4th trip. 2 bags. 9:03 p.m. 5th trip. 2 bags. 9:16 p.m. 6th trip. 2 bags. 9:28 p.m. Done. 12 bags. $22 million. Move from the center of the tunnel to the San Diego exit. Now comes the hardest part. Luis is waiting on the surface with a truck, but there are border patrol units everywhere. This close to the raid, security is tight. Diego and Hector load the bags onto the hydraulic lift, send them up, then climb up themselves. They emerge into the San Diego warehouse. Luis is there, engine running, load it quickly. They throw the bags into the truck, 12 bags in 90 seconds. Luis drives away at exactly 9:31 p.m. 29 minutes before the DEA raid. Diego and Hector lock the tunnel entrance, wipe down surfaces, make everything look untouched. Then they leave separately, different routes. Diego crosses back into Tijuana. Hector disappears into San Diego. By 9:45 p.m., the tunnel is empty, the money is gone, and nobody knows. The raid. November 4th, 2010. 1000 p.m. Holloway's tactical team breaches the Otay Mesa warehouse. Flashbangs. Battering rams. 30 agents pouring through doorways. Clear. Moving to the tunnel entrance. They descend 40 feet underground. Weapons drawn, expecting resistance. They find nothing. The tunnel is empty. No drugs, no people, no product, and no money. Holloway walks the length of the tunnel. 2,100 feet of perfect engineering ventilation, lighting, rail tracks, everything operational but completely empty. Search every inch. There has to be something. His team searches for 3 hours. They find tool marks on the walls, fresh tire tracks from the rail carts, dust patterns suggesting heavy items were recently moved, but zero cash, zero drugs, zero evidence. On the Tijuana side, Mexican authorities find the same thing. An operational tunnel, but nothing inside it. Holloway stands in the middle of the tunnel at 1 a.m. trying to understand what happened. They knew we were coming, maybe. But if they knew, why didn't they collapse the tunnel? Why leave it operational? Nobody has an answer. The official report will say tunnel discovered and secured. No contraband found, possible intelligence leak. Investigation ongoing. What the report won't say, someone stole $22 million from the Arellano Felix cartel in the 6 hours before the raid. And they did it so cleanly that even the DEA didn't know the money existed. The aftermath. November 5th, 2010, 8 a.m., Tijuana. The cartel discovers the tunnel has been raided. They also discover the money is gone. $22 million vanished. The cartel boss, a man who doesn't forgive mistakes, asks one question. Who knew about the raid? The answer, only a few people. Mexican police, American DEA, and the engineers who maintained the tunnel. Within 24 hours, the cartel starts asking questions. Where is Diego? Where is Hector? Where is Luis? Diego is gone. Last seen crossing into Tijuana on November 4th. Then nothing. No credit card transactions, no phone calls, no social media. Vanished. Hector is gone. His apartment in San Diego is empty. Lease paid through the end of the month, but all his belongings are gone. His truck was found abandoned in Chula Vista, wiped clean. No prints, no DNA, no trace. 3 engineers, $22 million. All vanished within 24 hours. The cartel sends people to look for them, offers rewards, threatens families, but nobody talks because nobody knows where they went. Here's what investigators believe happened. Diego, Hector, and Luis knew the raid was coming. They knew they had a narrow window. They moved the money. Then they disappeared. But where, Theory 1? They fled to Central America, Guatemala, Honduras, countries with weak extradition laws and easy-to-buy fake identities. Theory 2, they're dead. The cartel found them, killed them, buried the bodies somewhere in the desert, the money was recovered, and nobody will ever admit it existed. Theory 3, they're living quiet lives under new names. The $22 million split 3 ways is $7.3 million each. Not enough to live like kings, but enough to disappear forever. No bodies have ever been found, no arrests have ever been made, no money has ever surfaced. The DEA considers it a successful operation. They shut down a major smuggling tunnel. The cartel considers it a catastrophic loss. $22 million and their primary route gone in one night. But for Diego, Hector, and Luis, if they're still alive, November 4th, 2010 was the night they pulled off the perfect heist. The tunnel under Otay Mesa was sealed in 2011. Concrete poured into both entrances, official closed, but the engineering remains. 40 feet underground, 2,100 feet of steel reinforced walls and concrete floors. LED lights that no longer work. rail tracks that no longer move product, a monument to ambition, to engineering, to criminal genius. And 3 men know exactly what happened that night if they're still alive to remember it.